Solve for x. 2 2/3 x minus 1 equals negative 65. So let's rewrite that equation as 2 2/3 x minus 1 equals negative 65. Well, our goal is to get x by itself, or 1x. And what does 1x equal to? Well, we're going to use a little bit of our math properties to figure this out. So what's happening to x right here is that it's being subtracted 1 from. Well, let's do this instead. Let's add 1 to it. And by adding 1, this is what happens. Negative 1 plus this 1, that's going to make this part right here equal to 0. That's going to be 0. Well, we still have negative 65 on the right side, and whatever you do on the left, and what did we do on the left? We added 1, so guess what? We have to add that 1 on the right. So on the right side, it's equal to negative 64, because negative 65 plus 1 is negative 64. And then we still have our 2 2/3 x plus 0 equals negative 64. Well, let's do this. Let's rewrite this as a fraction greater than 1. And to do that, we'll do a little conversion. 2 times 3 is 6. We add that 2 up there. That means 8/3. So we have 8/3 x, and we don't need to write the 0 because that has no value, is equal to negative 64. Again, our goal is to have this as 1x. Right now we have 8/3 x. Well, one way we can do this is multiply each side of the equation by the reciprocal, by 3/8. This is one way we could do this. Multiply each side by 3/8. This will get us to 1x. How? Well, check this out. When we cross cancel, 8 over 8 is 1, and then 3 over 3, that's both 1 over 1. So now we have 1 times 1 over 1 times 1 x, and guess what? All this right here becomes 1x. Let's do this on the right too. We can cross cancel. 8 times 8 is 1. 8 goes into negative 64, negative 8 times. So we're left with negative 8 over 1 times 3 over 1. Well, negative 8 times 3, that's going to be equal to negative 24 over 1, which is really x. 1x is x, and negative 24 over 1, well, that's equal to negative 24. So let's go ahead and check our work right up here. Our original equation was 2 2/3 x minus 1 equals negative 65. And we figured out that x is equal to negative 24. So we're going to substitute x is negative 24 into where x is right there. We now have 2 2/3 x minus 1 equals negative 65. Where this x is right here, we're going to substitute in there negative 24 minus 1 equals negative 65. But then let's also convert that mixed number to a fraction greater than 1. So 2 times 3 is 6. Add the 2, that's 8. That's what we had earlier. We had 8/3. And so now let's do this next step. So let's rewrite this as 8/3 times negative 24 over 1 minus 1 equals negative 65. So let's deal with this part right here first. Looks like we can multiply or cross cancel. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into negative 24 negative 8 times. So what we're left with is 8 over 1 multiplied by negative 8 over 1 minus 1 equals negative 65. Well, 8 times negative 8, that's equal to negative 64 over 1 minus 1. And does that equal to negative 65? Well, negative 64 over 1, that's the same thing as negative 64 minus 1 equals negative 65. Negative 64 minus 1, that does equal negative 65. So the left side does equal the right side. Guess what? That checks. That means that x equals negative 24. That is the way you can check to make sure that that answer is correct.